Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 723 for the 16th of February. The frontline changes report has been already published, and I also published a report dedicated to the Battle of Avdiivka, so do check them out. It's on the main channel and the DPA War channel. The Battle of Avdiivka is only on the main channel. So anyway, I'm multi-postings everywhere, so if you missed it, then there's nothing else I can do about it. So anyway, so let's go on to the frontline changes over at the Kherson Front. At the Kherson Front, there is still no clear news and indication whether the Ukrainians are still at Kreminna. Despite the Ukrainian Defense Ministry continue to report about Russian attempts to attack Ukrainian troops positions, but they do not mention exactly where. So we will just assume that it's going to be Kreminna. There is also a geolocation of a strike, the destruction of a Humvee-like vehicle that is actually rather far away from the front line, and it was attacked by a Lancet suicide drone, and so it's hidden. You can see it was inside near some building, and then it got struck. The location is actually over at Dmitrievka, and it's over in the Mykolaiv region. So I haven't said the word Mykolaiv for a long time. So this Mykolaiv city, this is Kherson. So this actually happens over here. So it's a bit far away from everything else. And so what it shows is the Russians are actually hunting for Ukrainian forces even beyond where the active fighting is. So it's something to take note. We move on away from the Kherson Front into the Zaporizhzhia Front. So this is the Zaporizhzhia Front, and this is Zaporizhzhia city. And over at the Orikhiv sector, this is the Orikhiv sector, there is fighting being reported over at Robotine only. So this is the only fighting that is reported in this region here. So everything has gone rather quiet, and quiet is not a good thing because the Russian forces have a lot. So when they go quiet, it's not a good thing. So that's all from the entire Zaporizhzhia Front, and we move into the Donetsk Front. So this is the Donetsk Front. And at the Donetsk Front, there is reports of fighting over at the Voleda sector of the front line. There is fighting being reported in the latest Russian Defense Ministry report. There is only in Russian right now. Attacking towards Vodian, and also there's an attack in the area of Nevelske, which is over here. It's unclear if the one talking about Vodian is from this direction. So this issue I still have not resolved yet because there's no other information and intel coming out from the front line or from the Russian sources that I'm following. So I'm not too sure. Of course, I can't read every single Russian source that's out there, but based on my trusted one, I still do not know exactly where this Vodian fighting is actually coming from. So we will continue to monitor. And there's a possibility that it's actually referring to this one, and then the one Nevelske is coming in from this direction, which then is some kind of a pincer. We will continue to monitor and see how these progress. Fighting continues over in the region of Georgievka as well as Novomikhailivka. Ukrainian forces counterattack over at Georgievka, and there is a geolocation of a damaged tank, Leopard tank, over in the south of Bojeda, and so the Leopard tank is basically stuck, and it was abandoned by its crew. It was doing a turn and then did not expect a crater, a area bomb crater, which is too deep for the tank to move in. They basically went in, stuck into the ground, and the crew just left it. So that is the situation over at Bojeda. So if you look a bit from the strategic point of view, the Russians are attacking at Georgievka, Novomikhailivka, Nevelske, and somewhere towards Vodian. It could be here. So we shall continue to monitor Ukrainian counterattack over at Georgievka, and we move on over to the Avdiivka Front. So this is actually where the main focus of the world is currently focusing right now. And there is major frontline changes over in the Pervomaiske and Nevelske region, but the general strategic picture is fighting towards Lashtorkine, fighting into the center of Avdiivka, fighting from the south, fighting from the east. There's fighting reported at Pervomaiske and Nevelske. So so we've got to focus on the Nevelske. There is a major frontline change over in the Nevelske region. While the Russians are attacking towards Pervomaiske, they are also attacking towards Nevelske, and there is, in the latest frontline changes report, a lot of grounds has been gained by the Russian side. So the next battle is going to be at Nevelske. So we because the front line is already on the outskirts of Nevelske, we will continue to monitor and see how this progress. Over at this then within Pervomaiske itself, there is FPV drones hunting Ukrainian troops. There is hiding within the Pervomaiske rubbles and ruins. So that was geolocated within Pervomaiske itself, confirming that the Ukrainians are indeed in that location. So the front line is actually correct. Over in the Battle of Avdiivka, the situation continues to unfold in a negative way for the Ukrainians. The Russians are confirmed to be at a filtration station after geolocation's confirmation. The Russians are attacking in, and they are attacking from the south area here. And there was a geolocation of Russian forces at the highway, the flyover. So that confirms Russian troops are still in the process of clearing the southern part where the Ukrainians was pincered. So, and then in the north, the Russians are pushing southward into the city itself, and they're pushing towards Lashtovskine. They are also continue to push south against the final road that is allowing the Ukrainians to withdraw out of Avdiivka. The latest information is that the Ukrainians have announced a withdrawal. The order the order for the withdrawal of their Ukrainian troops out of the city is now enforced. So whether the soldiers within the Ukrainian soldiers within the city received the information, the order, is unclear. I'm not sure if they can get the information. So there is already footages coming out from the front line showing that there are Ukrainian POWs from Avdiivka being captured. So situation is very, very critical. The number of troops is estimated to be between 3,000 to 5,000 according to the Russian sources. So 3 to 5K is still a lot of people. We will continue to monitor to see how this progress, whether they can make it out. And there is a geolocation of Ukrainian forces along the road of the final dirt road of life, the dirty road of life. So it shows Ukrainian presence over there. The presence of Russian troops in the center, near the center, just off the Avdiivka train station, confirms the progress of the Russians within the Avdiivka city itself. So, and further geolocation of Russian forces continues to show that they are making good progress within the city itself. There is not much resistance left now, because the Ukrainian forces are now all busy trying to get out of Avdiivka right now and through this one road. So I believe the Russians is going to make a lot of push to stop or to make it very, very difficult for the Ukrainians to withdraw. And fighting reported towards Lashtovskine. They are just off Lashtovskine. Based on the latest frontline report from the Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, the Russian forces has already reached just outside of Lashtovskine. The next push is going to be inside of Lashtovskine soon. And if the battle break out within Lashtovskine, it's going to be very, very bad for the Ukrainians, because this is a rather strategically important town at this very moment. We will continue to monitor, see how this progress. And so we move on. This geolocation is just footage of Ukrainian forces getting bombarded. You can hear the sound. Yeah. So I just want to show you that. Yeah, it is quite hellish over in the coke plant, over in the northern part of Avdiivka city. Away from the Avdiivka front, we move into the Niu-York Front. Ukrainian forces counterattack over at the Niu-York Front, with fighting reported at Berdane as well as the just off New York towards the city of Holivka. So this comes after the Russians were previously attacking New York. So we will continue to monitor and see how this progress over in this front line. Not much is being talked about in this area here. We move into the Bakhmut Front. Over at the this is the city of Bakhmut, and this is the southern flank of the Bakhmut Front. In the southern flank, the Russian forces continue their assault against Klishchiivka, Andriivka, and Kudyomivka. So there seems to be a step up of the operations over here, because Kupyansk, the last fighting was reported for 14-15, so then we have a 17, which actually is every the past 3 days. So there is a step up for sure over in this area here. We will continue to monitor, and we move further up north. Over in the northern flank, the Russian forces are still being reported to be fighting in the area of Avdiivka as well as Nevelske, and several geolocation of Ukrainian forces in these areas here shows where the front line is, and there is also further geolocation of Ukrainian forces at Chasiv and Krychorivka for various reasons. So at Chasiv is getting airstrike, and Krychorivka it is counter artillery, Ukrainian artillery position getting shelled by Russian artillery. So it's a counter artillery situation over there. So there is some explosions, and in the video, boom, you can see. So the over in this area here, there is FPV drone attack against Ukrainian positions in the forest region. So I'm not sure if this is dated or if this is actually something more current. Maybe the Ukrainians are here. Currently, we're not too sure. Actually, what I should do is actually to draw a possibility. So this is actually Avdiivka. So yeah, possible Ukraine presence. So we're going to do this to make sure that we do map this in. I probably missed it just now. So this is the only yellow for the day, and so yeah, so we're gonna have this over in this area, and this for this one over in the southern forest here. This is getting hit by a TOS-1A, a thermobaric MLRS multiple launch rocket system. So yeah, so everything alive is going to be dead by then, by that missile attack. So we move away from the Bakhmut Front. That's all from the Bakhmut Front into the Siversk Front. Over the Siversk Front, the Russian forces are attacking Bilohorivka in the Luhansk region, and they are also attacking northward towards Vimka. And in the area of Vasily, there is geolocation of the assault being reported, and the geolocation of the assault shows that they are progressing into Ukrainian controlled territory. So we will continue to monitor to see how this progress over at the Siversk Front. We move into the Kreminna Front. So over the Kreminna Front, Russian forces went into a major counteroffensive. There is no Ukrainian attack being reported. Everything is Russian. Russians are attacking Kerny, Yampolivka, Torske, and Dibrova. And the information coming from the Russian Defense Ministry, the Ukrainians did not say anything. The Ukrainians say that there is no active assault operation from the Russian side. So very bizarre. We will continue to wait and see how this progress. And we move on away from the Kreminna Front in further up north. There's nothing over the Siversk Front into the Kupyansk Front. So this is Kupyansk City, and this is Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, because due to the Ukrainian lack of reporting about, they say that there's no active assault in this area here. Fighting is only being reported over at Sinkivka. Both is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. One is from yesterday's report, one is from today's latest report. So the Russians say that they are attacking, and then they say that they are defending. So that's all. All the information is from the Russian side. Ukrainian reports simply say that there is no Russian action. There's no Russian assault, ground assault in this area. So that's it for the Kupyansk Front, and I believe that is it for the summary for the day of 723 for the 16th of February. I know the attention is all on Avdiivka, and it looks like even in terms of the battlegrounds, this seems to be the case as well. So I'm going to go into the conclusions.